Good day, class. You are welcome to Easy Pass tutorial. Today we'll be treating a topic in biology titled cytology. And this topic is a very broad topic, but we'll just take some part of it for this section we have hope of continuing shortly. Cytology. What is cytology? Cytology is defined as a branch of biology that deals with the study of cell, its organelles, and their function. Cell on its own is defined as the units of life. Basically, it is generally defined as the basic structural and functional units of life. Cell on its own has two main parts. The first part is the nucleus. The other part is called the cytoplasm. The nucleus combined with the cytoplasm forms what we call protoplasm. So the whole of the cell in the layman's way can be referred to as protoplasm when it is enclosed by what we call cell membrane. Cell has two main types, and the two types of cells are referred to as the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. The prokaryotic cells are the earliest form of cell, and they are cells without nuclear membrane. That is the distinction of this cell. They don't have nuclear membrane. The other type of cell is called eukaryotic type or eukaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cell is a kind of cell that has cell membrane. I just believe that all cells actually came from the prokaryotic cell. In evolutionary trend, the prokaryotic cells existed before the eukaryotic cell. The study of cell, which is cytology, was actually made possible after the invention of microscope, compound microscope to be precise, because cell itself is a microscopic substance or microscopic part of life. It cannot be seen with unaided eyes. The first cell that was discovered by Robert Hooke when he was examining the back of an oak tree. After several slices, he placed this under microscope and he discovered some compartment like a cell, and he termed this as cell. Ever since then, we have regarded Robert Hooke as the father of cytology, since he was the first to discover what is called cell. Felix Dujardin in the year 1835 also examined this cell in a unique way, and he was able to buttress that cell is actually the origin of life, and all living things are actually made up of cell. Other scientists that contributed to the theory of cells are Purkinje, who discovered the protoplasm of cell. As I've said earlier, the protoplasm is the combination of the cytoplasm and the nucleus. So combining the protoplasm and the cytoplasm, we have combining the nucleus and cytoplasm, we have the protoplasm. Other scientists like Matthias Landin and also Theodor Quang discovered plants and animal cells respectively. And Rudolf Virchow, another great scientist, actually proposed the theory of hominicellular, that all existing cells actually came from pre-existed ones of the same species. Now, the next part of this class, which I will just be introducing, is cell theory. The cell theory are of 5 different types, and the first one which I will mention is actually the definition of cell, and it says cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. That is the first theory of cell. In other ways, some people will say there is no life apart aside from the life from cell. So cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. The second theory of cell, which I will mention, is that all living things are made up of one or more cells. All living things are made up of one or more cells. Take for instance, human beings are multicellular organisms. We are made up of several cells. While we have some organisms like amoeba made up of only one cell. So all living things are made up of one or more cells. The third one says all pre-existing cells. All existing cells, rather, all new cells, all existing cells came from pre-existing ones. And that is the same theory that was actually propounded by Rudolf Virchow, which says omnicellulate cellular, that is all existing cells, all new cells actually came from the pre-existing ones. Other theory of cells that we have is all cells contain genetic material in form of DNA or RNA. We also have energy flow occurs within cells. These are some of the theories of cells that have been generally accepted. Now, having known that we have two types of cells, the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. The prokaryotic cells, they existed before the eukaryotic cells. The prokaryotic cells also have circular DNA, while the eukaryotic cells have linear DNA, just to mention some other differences between these two types of cells. The prokaryotic cells exhibit only binary fission as a means of division, while the eukaryotic cell exhibits binary fission. We also have mitosis and meiosis existing in this in eukaryotic cell. The prokaryotic cells generally and the earliest form of organisms that we have, like the bacteria, the cyanobacteria, those are examples of prokaryotes. While the eukaryotes, we have examples like the plant and animal cells. They are major examples of eukaryotic cells. Now, to further this study, we are going to look at types of eukaryotic cells. The types of eukaryotic cells that we have are generally the plant cell and the animal cell. The plant cell and the animal cell. I think with this we can just have a little pause and we continue later.